Afternoon, everyone, and you are welcome to the GMAETS 41's live English stream section. We are going to be dealing with exam-focused question related to tenses in verbs. So you are welcome to our class. Alright, so I'll be looking forward to having you friends join the class. Remember, once you join, indicate your presence. So be sharing the link to our class to the GMAETS 41's Jam group. I'll also share to the advanced level for your GS courses. Yeah, GS 101. I guess you would get one or two things from here. So let's see how we go. Once you join the class, remember to indicate your presence. How do you indicate your presence? Just give a like to the video. And then you can just simply say, I can hear you, sir, right? So that I can kick off the class. Remember, we are looking at the use of verb tense. The tenses in English language under verbs. All right, once you join the class, indicate, because I am about kicking off the class. All right, so we have these questions we are going to look at. These questions were submitted by Group 1 of the GMAETS 41's JAM lesson. Remember, our physical JAM lesson holds at IDK between Aroma and Government House, Awka, Anambra State. So if you are in Awka, NEET environ, you're preparing for your examination, JAM WAEC. Let us even assume you are a Unizik student in 100 level at least. I know about your GS 101. What we're about to deal with right now is also applicable to you guys. For the JAM Bites and WAEC students, don't forget, this time is highly crucial for you when it comes to your examination. So you are welcome to join us. We have these 10 questions we are going to deal with in English language. And these questions are drawn from the part of speech known as verb. We'll be giving attention to tenses in verb, because that is what the question is based on. So once you are around, please indicate. You can see some friends joining already. You're welcome to the class. We've got to kick off. There is no time. Okay? Yeah, no time. So our very first question here, question number 1, the instruction reads, fill in the space with the correct verb. Fill in the space with the correct verb. Question 1. I will leave when the rain dash. I will leave when the rain dash. Option A, stops. Option B, stopped. Option C, stop. Option D, stopped. Well, option B and D, spelling is what differentiates both. In option B, the stopped is double P. In option D, the stopped is one P, a single P. All right, I will leave when the rain stops. stops. That's the correct answer. And that is, of course, option A, right? When the rain what? Stops. That's the correct answer. Now, as usual, this live stream section where we review likely exam questions is not just about coming to say what the answer is. Anyone can provide any answer that he or she wishes. The idea here is to give at least a little explanation to why that or whatever we are selecting as the answer should be the answer. And remember, when you're talking about English, this is language. It's a language that belongs to some people, and we are learning this language steadily as much as we can. We want to abide by the rules, the principles guiding the language. So in this question, I will leave when the rain dash. The correct option we say is stops. Why is that so? Now, if you look at this question, you want to understand the context of the question. What is it that is expected to happen before this person will leave? Now, you notice that this is pointing to the rain. The rain. The rain has to stop so that this person will leave. For us to know the correct option to select, for which we selected option A, the idea of subject-verb agreement, the law of Concord, has to be applied here. What is to stop here is the rain. And as used, the rain. The rain is singular, right? Yeah, it's singular in nature. Are you following? The rain is singular. So for that reason, the verb that we follow this subject, the rain there, is going to be a singular verb. And how do we identify singular verb? Generally, singular verbs end with S. That is what you need to take note of. And that is the reason why the correct option is A, stops. For generally, we have this rule. Singular subject goes with singular verb, while plural subject of a sentence goes with plural verb. Subject of a sentence can neither be singular or plural. And what part of speech is actually the subject of a sentence? The subject of a sentence can either be a noun or a pronoun. So anytime you use singular noun as subject or singular pronoun as subject, the verb that it is expected to take just after it should be singular. And if you use plural subject of a sentence, which could be plural noun or plural pronoun, it is expected to take a plural verb. Take note, plural verbs do not end with S. So if I have something like stops and I have stop, stops is singular verb and stop is plural verb. I will leave when the rain stops. That's the correct answer. All right, we are moving on to the next question. Meanwhile, I hope you can hear me from that end. All right, Ebere, thank you for welcoming me back. Thank you for that. And you too, you're welcome to join the class. We are moving on to question number 2. And question number 2 reads, the boy will transport me to the mall in the afternoon. The boy will transport me to the mall this afternoon. In the afternoon, rather. Okay, so we have transport enclosed in brackets. And the question goes further to say, transport in the sentence is an example of what part of speech? The boy will transport me to the mall in the afternoon. I try to read with emphasis this time around, trying to stress the part of the syllable of that word, transport. You can just pronounce it flat, transport. 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 Right? So the question now is, what part of speech is this word? The truth is, depending on how a particular word is stressed, that actually has a bearing with some part of speech, like whether the word is a noun or whether it is a verb. We want to understand the context of this sentence. We are talking about the boy will transport me to the mall in the afternoon. However you choose to read that transport, whether flat or maybe emphatically based on where the stress is meant to be placed, it's important for us to understand that this transport in here, the transport, has to do with moving somebody to another place. And when an action is expected, that word is actually a verb. When you say something and it requires action, you are actually making use of the part of speech known as verb. Therefore, the transport used here is actually a verb. And the correct way that word should be pronounced is meant to be transport. Right? So that I could read, the boy will transport me to the mall in the afternoon. It is not transport of giving someone maybe cash, all right, to enter something. If you're giving someone cash, that word used in a sentence, in that cash is something, we pronounce it transport. But as a verb, which this sentence entails, are you following, right? It's actually meant to be pronounced transport. So you stress the second syllable. Therefore, I conclude that that word is a verb. And of course, if we are following the concept of stress, syllable stress, this is the part that is meant to be stressed, showing that it's about taking or moving someone from one place to another. Of course, a boy moving another person from one spot, okay, or one place to the mall. All right, that's question number 2 answered. The correct answer is C, verb. We are moving on to question 3. She dash me whenever I am sad. She dash me whenever I am sad. Option A, understand. Option B, console. Option C, understands. Option D, none of the above. She dash me whenever I am sad. Is it she understand me whenever I'm sad? Is it she console me whenever I'm sad? Is it she understands me whenever I'm sad? Or is it that there is none? Is it that none of the options there is correct? So I want to find out what the answer is. And the answer is understands, option C. She understands me whenever I am sad. The reason also goes with what I explained in question number 1. She is the subject of the sentence. It is a pronoun and a singular pronoun in that sentence. She is a singular word pronoun as the subject of the sentence. So according to the law of Concord, subject-verb agreement, it is expected that the verb that comes after she should be singular as well too. And remember, our singular verb ends with what? S. Now let me tell you something. The GMAETS 41 has actually created a channel which I refer to it as GMAETS 41's basic class channel, all right? GMAETS 41 basic class. The reason is when it comes to aspects of English and mathematics, I really don't play with it when it comes to training our little ones. Because these two subjects, however I want to put it, no matter the number of subjects we are offering, see some people offering 13 subjects, 14, gosh, this is something else. To be honest, it's something else. Even within 1 week, If you are reading one subject, you can't even cover all your subjects in a way. It's so funny and sometimes annoying. Yeah, maybe one day I will speak to this fact. English and mathematics, these are two subjects I consider as brain developing. Yeah, and they make us really who we are. If you're offering sciences or engineering, medicine, you need these two subjects. They are key. Therefore, I have a special channel built where all this basic knowledge are being treated. And YouTube here, you can search for GMAETS 41's basic class. And you would see the GMAETS 41's video lessons on English, basic mathematics. This concept I'm explaining here are clearly discussed in that channel. Once again, GMAETS 41 basic class. Please do well to subscribe to that channel. Do well to share it to your younger ones in primary school, right? Those in basic class, set from Genesis 1 to 3, they really would need that. And of course, you friends too, because when you come to English, like I said, it's language. So whether it's at primary school level, secondary school level, advanced level, yeah, the key things we need to understand in English language, they are, common to all these levels. All right, having explained that, the correct answer is understands, which is option C. We are moving on to question number 4. Question 3 we said is understands. She understands me whenever I am sad. Question 4 reads, the teacher with his wife dash here. The teacher with his wife dash here. Option A, were here, that is were. Option B, were to be. Option C, are. Option D, was. This question is really very tricky. Yeah, it's a very tricky question. Because if you look at it, there is something that might just confuse you if you're really not careful and or prepared. Right? Understanding the basic principle of English language. For example, the first option. Right? The first option says were. That's option A. B, were to be. Were to be, right? Option C, are. Option D, was. That option A and option C, if we are not careful, we might go for any of them. But one thing is, if you go for option A, were, then are you going to condemn option C, are? Because these two guys used in that sentence actually makes the sentence to be in their simple form. Either simple past tense if you use were, or simple present tense if you use are. And both sounds correct. Both of them sound correct somehow. But hey, let me just clarify you in something. Option A or C would have been correct if what combines the teacher and wife there happened to be and. Yeah, and. Say the teacher and his wife. There could be were here or are here. The use of that with singularizes the subject of the sentence there, even though we have the teacher and we have the wife, right? And for that reason, that the use of with there to an extent singularizes the subject of the sentence, it simply means that the correct answer here will be option D, was. I know that somehow, some way, some of us might be surprised at hearing this, right? But that's the correct answer, with. As used in that sentence, combining these two, the teacher with his wife, was here. Not were here, not are here. I've explained what could have used like conjunction to combine the teacher, then wife, right? So that the correct answer would either be were or are. In this context, please, the use of with suggests that the correct option there will be was, option D. All right. If you have any question, please feel free to drop the question there. Okay, promise. You've dropped some answers. I can see. I'm not writing the options here. Should I put the options so that I can also compare with yours? Like the first is stops. That's option A. The second is C. The second is C. And then the third, question 3, is C. The fourth is D. All right. Let's move on straight to question number 5. You can also put your answers as I read, okay? Even if for any reason your option doesn't agree with mine, don't worry, okay? We can still discuss why the difference. We are moving on to question number 5. Choose the correct form of verb to fill in the space in the sentence below. Choose the correct form of verb to fill in the space in the sentence below. That's the instruction. And the question reads, what dash me is her beauty? What dash me is her beauty? Option A, overwhelmed. Option B, overwhelmed. Option C, overwhelms. Option D, none of the above. What dash me is her beauty? The correct answer is what overwhelms me is her beauty. You know, somehow in this question, let me write the option overwhelms. Overwhelms. What overwhelms me is her beauty. And here is option C. Option C. Option A is overwhelmed. So someone could say, what overwhelmed me is her beauty. Why is it that option A there is not the correct option? If I say, what overwhelmed me, if I say that, then the verb, the primary auxiliary verb, I repeat that, the primary auxiliary verb that will appear after that me, right, would not be is. Look at the sentence, or listen to the sentence once again, right? What dash me is her beauty. What overwhelms me is her beauty. If the sentence had been, listen, what dash me was her beauty, then the correct option could have been what overwhelmed me was, so that you backdate that, right? You take it to the past because of the primary auxiliary verb was, that supposedly, if that was what appeared in the sentence, then you now use overwhelmed as a past tense. In this particular use of is after me here, suggests that we are going to use the simple present tense form of that overwhelm provided in the option. What overwhelms me, option C is correct, is her beauty. All right, we are moving on to question number 6. Question 6. Remember, like I said, if you have any question, feel free to ask, and I'll attend to the question. Don't forget, share this link to your friends. Share the link to your friends. If you are joining this live stream class and you are not a member of GMAETS 41's lessons, right? Or you are not a member of our channel, you are highly welcome to join us. You can actually become a member of our channel by clicking the Join tab on the GMAETS 41's channel. Then support this channel. You can join the Platinum level, we have Diamond level and above also. Appreciate what we do. Become a channel member so that you can get more. And if you're in Oka, Anambra State, like I said, you can join our physical job lesson and WIAC classes also at IDK between Aroma and Government House along the expressway. Let us move on to our next question, number 6. He said that they dash. He said that they dash painting the house by then. He said that they dash painting the house by then. Option A, will have finished. Option B, would have finished. Option C, will finish. Option D, would finish. He said that they would have finished painting the house by then. Now you're trying to report what someone said. And you are taking that into the future because you use the word by then. By then means this hasn't really happened yet. So it brings in the concept of future. So likely someone might be thinking of will. But remember, like I said, you are reporting something that someone already said, which was why the word said, S-A-I-D, was used here. So you heard something. The person who made that statement, which you are reporting, and the manner in which you are reporting it, suggests probability. Suggests what? Probability. It's just like somebody telling you, well, you can go. You can go. Who knows? But it's arrived. They would have been done with this. Probability. If it is a certainty, it's okay, they will have finished. So because you are reporting what someone said, right? We are not going to use will. Rather, we use what? What seemed to be the past form, would. Is that okay? And then look at the way this sentence was presented. He said that they, all right, would have finished. So you are reporting this, and you've got to make use of the perfect tense have finished. Have finished. That have finished is perfect tense as used in that sentence. Remember why I went for would instead of will. This suggests something about probability, something that may happen if you not certain that it will happen, right? Okay, so that is option D. Like I said, would have finished. The correct option we said is option B. We are moving on to question number 7. Question 7. Remember, we've got 10 questions to deal with here. Question 7 reads, if I dash an eagle, if I dash an eagle, I would fly to distant lands. You know, sometimes we wish this, right? We wish it. Want to move from one place to another. Okay, now let's look at the options provided. Option A was, okay, if I was an eagle. Option B, were, if I were an eagle. Option C, am, if I am an eagle. Option D, be, if I be an eagle. So what's the correct option here? Now I am going for were, if I were an eagle. That's option B. Now, one option that could confuse someone here is was. If I was an eagle. If I was an eagle. Why could that confuse someone? Recently, I was having an English class with my students, JAMB students, and I asked this question, trying to relate the concept of subject of a sentence to verb. And we talked about subject of a sentence can either be singular or plural. It can either be a noun or a pronoun. Then I asked this question. The word I in English, is it singular or plural? You know, very, very funny something. And then, of course, the answer I got was not surprising. The answer I got was not surprising. Favor Chichuku, yep, you went for where, and that's absolutely correct. Where is the correct answer? And so what the students said, majority of them, you know, said it is singular. It is singular. Where? Sorry, I is singular. And well, I did not argue that. I only concluded that in English language, I is used mostly as plural. As plural, yeah. But then I highlighted that the only case where I is used as singular is when it goes with was. I was. Because was is singular past tense primary auxiliary verb. To be. Yeah, I repeat that. Was is past tense. To be primary auxiliary verb. And it is singular because it ends with s. So if I say I was, that makes I to the singular. In many other cases where I is being used, it's used in plural form. So one can say I have, I have, I cook, I jump. You can't say I cooks. You can't say I jumps. You can't say I has. Because in all those cases, the verbs mentioned there are singular in nature. Am I communicating right? And so if I conclude that I is used in most cases in English as plural, then of course it makes sense. Therefore, hearing that the correct answer here is I were an eagle. Okay, if I were an eagle, I would fly to distant lands. Is the correct option, right? Not I was. If I was an eagle, that could sound sweet to the ear. Could sound sweet to the ear, no problem. But it's not just about being sweet. It's about the rule and the reality of this language. However, can we now talk about why where is actually the correct answer? If I were. Now this is just a mere wishful thought, right? There is no way someone can become an eagle. And it has never been in reality that somebody becomes an eagle or somebody became an eagle at some point in the past even. So the fact that someone is wishing or someone wishes to be an eagle, or someone wished that he was an eagle or he were an eagle, does not really suggest that it is possible. It is not possible. And because it's not possible for someone to become an eagle, hence making the person to fly, we can't use that verb was. Because if we say, if I was an eagle, that suggests that somehow it is possible or it has happened. All right? Okay, it had happened that at some time in the past, perhaps we have seen someone became an eagle. Did you get that right? And it's not possible. Now, the correct thing that will go here will be were. All right? Because in this case, the verb used there will be subjunctive. It will be what? Subjunctive. That is hypothetical. You are just wishing. It will never happen. Yeah, it will never happen. It will never happen, right? So, because this is just a mere wishful thought, right? The correct answer that goes there to make it hypothetical, just a mere wishful thinking, is were. So you want to take note of that. All right. This will take us to the next question, number 8. So question number 7, we say the correct answer is what? Were, which is B. If I were an eagle. Remember the major reason given there. It's just a mere wishful thought. If it's something that is real, that can happen, or that had happened before, which we know, there could have been if I was. Right? Okay, let's move on to question number 8. The man said that he dash A had eaten there the previous day. B ate there, or ate here rather, yesterday. C has eaten there before. D has eaten there yesterday. The man said that he. Now once again, remember you are reporting something, which means you already heard that word being said. The man had told you previously. And for that reason, when you are reporting this, you're going to use the perfect tense form, right? You are going to use what? The perfect tense form. And because you are reporting something, this is something that had happened previously, you are going to use the past perfect form of verb tense to report this. And therefore, the correct answer would be, the man said that he had eaten there the previous day. He had eaten there the what? Previous day. Remember, you're using had, not has, because we have option D there, which is has. We have option C, which is also has. Right? You can't relate this thing you are reporting in the present perfect tense form. Now, what made this sentence to be perfect? Because of the use of that word eating, E-A-T-E-N. In fact, that is the function of past participle in English. Past what? Participle. And one thing is this: whenever you are using perfect tense, whether present perfect tense or past perfect tense or future perfect tense, where you make use of all this past participle, you are expected to attach before this past participle verb form. You are expected to use to have verbs. To have what? Verbs. That is to have auxiliary verbs. To have primary auxiliary verbs. What do I mean by that? It is either you use has in the case of singular present, or you use have in the case of plural subject present tense. Then, in the case of past tense, you use had, because had, H-A-D, is the past tense of has and have. And whenever you're reporting something which already had happened, is in the past, you cannot be using has. You can't use have, which is the case here, right? Which is the case here. So the correct thing here will be, the man said. You're trying to tell us now what Please, I'm sorry about that. Can you indicate if the mic is on now? Can you indicate, please, if you can hear me now? If you can hear me, please do indicate. Can you hear me now? All right. And please, can you specify where I ended the last thing you heard when I was explaining how perfect tense is being used in English? Did you get that? Or perhaps I could just start from that of perfect tense in English. And I said that perfect tense, when used in English, a student is expected to know the verbs that we use in forming perfect tense. These verbs are our past participle. There is this fun class in fun time we used to have in class, and verbs. You are expected to present their present tense form. You provide, rather, their present tense form, their past tense form, their continuous tense form, and their past participle. You can see the reason why that assignment is very good. I'll be looking forward to receiving that assignment this Friday in our physical English class, okay? So you should know that in English language, we use past participle to form perfect tense. And before that past participle, you must use, depending on the subject of the sentence, and depending on whether it is present or past sentence you want to make, you must use either has together with the perfect tense, or have together with the perfect tense, or had in the case of past. All right, Nolan, you are welcome. Hello, I hope you can hear me. Nolan, you're welcome. Please, let's move on. We have spent time on that question number what? Question number 8, and we say the correct answer is what? Had eaten there the previous day. The previous day. The correct option we said is A. Okay, question number 9. We are getting close to the end of our live stream section class today in this 2025-2026 possible exam focus questions on JAM, right? Question 9. Jide dash before I arrived. Jide dash before I arrived. Option A. Could have eat. So, okay, Jide could have eat before I arrived. Anyway, I don't think we have to waste time on that. That's off already. Option B. Had eaten. Jide had eaten before I arrived. Want to think about that? We'll still be back to it during our analysis. Option C. Must had eaten. Jide must had eaten before I arrived. Must had. Anyway, just take note of these. You can't use that word must had. Rather, you can say must have. Yeah. Must have done this. So that must had, the must and had combined already pushed off that option. And then have eaten. Jide have eaten before I arrived. That's option D. Have eaten. Jide have eaten. Have is plural. Have is plural. To have primary auxiliary verb. There is no way it would go with Jide. Jide is just one person, a singular noun used as subject of a sentence. So let's kick off some options that are just off. I think the answer is very clear there. Option D is off. Have eaten. We are not just kicking it off just for no reason. You can't use have, which is plural, with a singular subject, Jide. That's the reason. So you take note of this. In case you meet similar questions, you want to use all these analysis, okay, what I am explaining to guide you to know what the correct answer is. It can't be option C, must had eaten. I've told you can't combine must and had, past tense. No. It should rather be must have, right? You can't even use must has. You say must, it's always must have, then the action that is expected. So that C must add off. All right. Jide could have eat before I arrived. Jide could have eat. You cannot use a present tense verb after have, after has, after had. You can't. Okay, have eat. No. Remember the previous question, number 8. We said that once you use to have primary auxiliary verb, which include either have or has or had, the verb that follows must be in its past participle form. So if maybe what we had in option A is Jide could have eaten before I arrived, maybe we might be thinking about it. But with this one, could have eat, it doesn't work. Have and eat, they don't go together. It violates the rule of forming perfect tense sentence. The correct option is B, had eaten. Jide had eaten before I arrived. Means, okay, before you got there, oh, Jide likes food a lot. Jide what? Likes food a lot. So the correct answer here is option B, had eaten. Had eaten. Good. That's option B, like I said. This takes us to our last question for today. Friends, you've done well. Okay, Nolan, I am from Azerbaijan. You are highly welcome to join us, okay? Azerbaijan. I'm finding it difficult to pronounce that. You're welcome to join our live stream section class, okay? At the end of this lesson, the copy of this particular live stream section is going to be available on the GMAETS 41's channel. You can actually go back to it and take the lesson to still listen to all what we've explained. And you can kindly become our channel member, Nolan, okay? So you get much more benefit from this channel. If you drop your comment, your message on my channel, on YouTube here, I will see it and I'll respond to you directly so you know how to follow up with our class. You're welcome once again from Azerbaijan. Teach me how to pronounce it correctly. If I don't get it, you can do so later. Now let's move on to the 10th and the last question. Dash the textbooks. He advised his daughter to face her studies. Dash the textbooks. He advised his daughter to face her studies. Option A, having been to buy. Having been to buy, that's option A. Says having been to buy the textbooks. Okay, it doesn't make sense. That's completely off. Option B, having bought. Option B, having bought. Says having bought the textbooks. Well, a suspect. Option C, having buying the textbooks. Doesn't make sense. You can't use having buying. Right now, it doesn't make sense. Option C, having been bought. Again, doesn't make sense. I guess we have to go straight to what the correct option here is. The correct option is option B, having bought. Having bought the textbooks. He advised his daughter to face her studies. This is a contextual situation that suggests that, okay, maybe the daughter of this man never used to take her studies seriously. Perhaps given the reason that maybe there is no textbook for her to use. Now the father has bought the textbooks. Now that he has bought the textbooks, what do you expect of him? He definitely will call the attention of the daughter. Hey, little girl, now you used to complain that you don't have textbooks. Is that not so? I've got you textbooks. I don't want to hear that anymore. Take your studies seriously, right? Face them. So that's just the whole idea. So we have having bought. And again, try to get something. But as used here is past participle verb form. But as used here is past participle verb form. And you now notice that before that but, to have primary auxiliary verb in its continuous form, having, was used, which of course suggests the use of, that's going to be present, okay, past rather, past perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, right? In that format. But if you said perfect continuous, I think there should be been, B-E-N. So it's a past perfect tense. That's the correct answer. Past perfect tense, combining having and then but. So this is a sentence brought from the fact that, okay, there was an outstanding issue that led to the man getting the textbook. Now he's telling the daughter, now that I have got this textbook, you have to take your studies seriously. So the correct answer, like we said, is option B, having but. Having but. Option B. All right, this is great. And that's all we've got here for today. John Paul, hello, you're welcome. We're already rounding off the class. Okay? You're still welcome. A copy of the video will be made available. You can take the lesson later. So that is all about the class. Ebere, thank you for thanking me. Appreciate. Thank you for joining the class as well too. I want to believe with what has been done so far that you've learned something from the class, all of you, okay? Remember, like I said, this class is not just all about coming to answer your questions like question 1A, question, no. You answer those things, right? As you drop the questions in our group on your own, you can answer the question, you have them. When we're about to start the live stream class, you can drop your questions. So you can drop your answers rather. And then when I am done analyzing and explaining why I feel based on principles that this is the correct answer, you can compare it with your own answers and see areas that you need to improve or any necessary correction that has to be done. I love you guys, right? Do take care of yourself, and we all remain the GMAETS 41's family. I hope to see you soon, right? We'll discuss in our group to know if we would have a live stream section before next week, okay? Because I'm aware there are other questions I need to attend to, like physics also is there, right? And there are some I'm yet to touch because I was so stressed, a bit sick, right? Just within this few days. So I couldn't really meet up what was expected. But remember this GMAETS 41, I'm always committed to the process. And we are going to make up for other questions that have been dropped, even including some other topics in chemistry like equilibrium, right? So we'll discuss it in the group to know whether we'll have a live stream session class before next week, Tuesday. Until then, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in our physical class at IDK. Don't forget to study a book. Bye-bye.